Okay, guys, appreciate y'all all being here. We're going to do this to maximize the opportunity for you and all the media to get something significant that you can use tonight, today, tomorrow, further on. We're lucky to have the three principals here. What we will have is each one of these gentlemen will step up to the podium and give you 3 to 4 minutes of remarks assessing why they're here, what they just did in the seminar with the student athletes and other people from athletics around the area, and then also talk about the very important presentation tonight regarding AI and leadership. So we're very privileged here at Northwestern to have this kind of expertise that is truly renowned and well known, not only around the country, but the world. So we'll start with the Natchitoches native and a renowned expert and a guy who was at the forefront of concussion research and still is, Dr. Julian Bailes. Julian?
Thanks, Doug. Thanks. Good to see all of you here. So we had a good session this morning. President Genovese got all the athletes here, multiple sports, to hear about our approach on brain protection, our approach on concussions, how they occur, and what the symptoms are and how they're managed. So concussion has evolved a lot in recent years, in the last decade or two, and driven by a lot more medical knowledge, scientific knowledge, and also the issue of CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is the specter out there of as an athlete gets older, especially if he or she has played in contact sports. For girls sports, soccer, basketball, ice hockey are the number 1, 2, and 3. For boys sports, men's sports, it's football, it's soccer, it's ice hockey, it's wrestling. So important for them to understand really how they occur, what the symptoms are, and how they're managed. And the number 1 way they're managed is to avoid repetitive contact, especially until the symptoms have resolved. So a lot more is known. It's important that they and their teammates understand what is going on, and they need to call out to the coaches or the trainers if they suspect that one of their teammates has had a brain injury or concussion. In almost all cases, concussions in sports will resolve. There have been a few instances where if repetitive head contact occurs over and over, especially if the concussion has not healed, it could lead to other problems later in life. This afternoon, or later this evening, we're going to be talking about really an emerging concept which is affecting all of us in medicine, as well as every walk of life, and that is artificial intelligence, or AI. I will be talking about my field of neurological surgery and how AI is already broken in, and what the potential ramifications and what part of AI we're using now, and what we think we would maybe utilize in the near future. So we're using it currently for planning, for imaging of the brain, for guidance in the brain. We're also using it for decision making. We're using it for people, for instance, with brain cancer, coming up with the best drug or a combination of drugs. So a lot of exciting things in the breakthrough in medicine, and in my particular field, neurological surgery, with artificial intelligence.
We'll break up for individual questions later. So let me bring up our next wonderful visitor to Natchitoches, and will become somewhat of a resident at times. We're very happy to have Neilank Jha, who knows everybody's name as soon as he meets them, and also can do 37 reps at 225. Is that right? Not your average doctor, that's for sure. Dr. Jha, please. Fisherman too, evidently.
Thanks, Mr. Harlan. As Dr. Bailes mentioned, we had a wonderful session just now with the student athletes. Everything in towns like this start with the student athletes, with the football team, and it trickles everywhere else. And Dr. Bailes and I were so particular to share information about concussions, emanating artificial intelligence, nutrition. And I really had the privilege to meet the entire football team afterwards. They're coming for this evening's session. The coach was inspired and motivated. We spoke to the CEO of the hospital system who wants to integrate some of these ideas. So we had a great morning. The leadership of President Genovese, who has been working on this for many, many months, attending Zoom calls, Professor Hundle, Drake Owens, the leadership here. While I've been here, I've been so fortunate to have leadership like Mary Yida take our team around. So we've had a great morning. The athletes appeared to be inspired, the coaches. We really think that revitalizing the community. I've had the privilege to be here since Sunday with my team, Julian, Amanda. I've been having lunch and dinner 3 times a day, so I get an opportunity to meet the locals and better understand the situation. And you can see that Natchitoches is such a beautiful town, southern charm, wonderful people, people willing to take their shirts off their back for you. And with COVID, with the enrollment in the school, with the International Paper Mill, IP, the town has faced a lot of challenges, but it's been resilient. And it is ready to reemerge, and it's ready to move forward. I'm here today because Dr. Bailes is my mentor. He's alumni from NSU. He's very proud of his roots here, and he asked me to come here. It's such a privilege to be in this town. It's an unbelievable place. We've been staying off of the Cane River, and we are looking this evening to have a wonderful session where we're talking about the role of AI and how AI can really contribute, along with the visionary leadership of President Genovese and the rest of the team, along with the southern charm, along with the wonderful people, and you add a little bit of AI and infuse that in the mix to the beautiful landscape of Natchitoches, where you have the Festival of Lights, Christmas time, 1 million tourists a year, and how to take that to the next level, how to have the university integrate more with the community when it comes to AI. We've already spoken to professors. I've met with close to 30 professors in the university already, spoken to a number of classes, and have a real pulse for what's going on the ground here. And I think if we put the pieces of the student athletes, the visionary leadership, the AI, the southern charm, we have a real opportunity to create a resurgence in the town that's faced challenges. And that's the purpose of this evening's event. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Jha. Jason, departing before I introduce Monty, who was not part of this morning seminar, would you come up and introduce our student athletes who are here and bring them up and let them kind of react to what they heard and give us an assessment?
Yes, as Dr. Jha, Dr. Bailes spoke with our student athletes that attend this wonderful presentation. We brought 2, one from each of the sports that Dr. Bailes mentioned are 2 of the ones that most face concussion challenges, and it seem to be the ones in the limelight now. So first we'll bring up from Covington, Louisiana, football linebacker Danny Sears. We'll bring Danny up, and then we'll follow with soccer player Isabella Quinoa. So Danny.
Thank you, Mr. Jason. I really just think it's truly a great experience being able to learn more about it. You know, playing football and along my playing career, I've been a victim of a few concussions myself. So being able to get this information and everything, it's truly special. You know, being able to learn stuff like this is beneficial whenever I'm done playing football as well and go on to the next part of my career. So it's really awesome. Basically every other sport being able to get to hear it, and they know how important it is, and it is an important topic, you know, because with football now, I know it's been a spike in numbers of concussions recently and stuff like that. So we're trying to do everything we can do to prevent it and stuff like that. So it was awesome. Great time.
Danny, what are a couple of the takeaways that you got from the presentation this morning?
Well, first thing I learned is I need to work on my sleep. Definitely. I'm pretty bad at that, and that's a really good way to help, you know, try to prevent concussions on the you know, if you get the right amount of sleep and stuff like that, nutrition plays a huge part of it. And, you know, as a student athlete, I know I have to do that as part of my job, is taking the right amount of food and stuff like that. And, you know, the creatine can also play a great role in this and stuff like that. And I myself don't take creatine, so that was something I know that really took me off my feet and surprised me, you know. So definitely going to look into that and start doing that as well.
Thank you, Danny. Next, we'll bring up soccer defender from Lucas, Texas, Isabella Claville, who actually probably asked one of the more informative and entertaining questions in today's event.
Okay. I think it was just a great opportunity to hear both of these doctors speak about concussions and how to prevent them, and what to do once you have a concussion as well, and not to come back too early, because as a person in a sport, you always want to come back and play the game, but it's important to listen to your body, and most importantly, listen to your mind, so that you can come back fully prepared and you're not half yourself.
Isabella, what surprised you about what you heard?
I think what surprised me was not only how women's sport in soccer is the one who has the greatest risk of concussions, but also how much it's important to take care of your body and your mind in order to prevent concussions as well.
And your question, kind of rehash the question and what you got from that.
Yes, so I asked the question of, we have all these athletes like LeBron James, who spends over $1 billion on their bodies to recover and play to the best of their abilities, and how us as student athletes can do the same thing with not having as much money. And they practically just said that you can do all of the stuff they have with the lower amount of money, because it's just the little things that you do, like sleeping, getting your right nutrition, and just making sure your mind is right as well.
Okay, and in television, they need to put little supers at the bottom. Can you spell your name?
Yes, it's Queneau, Queneneau.
Thank you. Excellent. It's a special honor for me to bring up this third member of this distinguished panel, a gentleman who we were in college together, and that's all we're going to say about that. But Monty Chicola went on from those days, humble beginnings in Alexandria, to emerge in the internet world, and then become a leader and a partner with IBM at the forefront of all of the technology that is developed. And he is a very proud alumnus, like Julian Bailes. He's in our Long Purple Line, Alumni Hall of Distinction. And like these other two gentlemen, he is regarded not only nationally but internationally as a leader in the field, and somebody that other people who are experts look to. And so we're very blessed to have all three of these guys here. And Monty's the one who's closest down there in Alexandria, so we're lucky that we see him a lot. Monty Chicola.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
You know, that's sweet. Hello, everybody. I'm Monty Chicola. I am an alum of Northwestern. I'm really proud of it. And Dr. Jha, talking about Northwestern and Natchitoches itself, you got my heart. I've loved this town since the day I started my first year at Northwestern. There's no place like Natchitoches. There's no place like the people here. I don't live in Natchitoches. I'm jealous of everybody that does. But Northwestern itself is exactly the same school you would expect to be here in Natchitoches. It's exactly the same environment, the exact same people. It's wonderful. But anyway, I am Monty Chicola. I'm the president of a software company out of Northwestern. I eventually ended up starting my own software company on the backbone of IBM. We actually were an IBM product for 10 years. IBM sold us as an IBM product all over the world. So I've got customers in from literally Pango to Indonesia to Alexandria, Louisiana. So I have to deal with artificial intelligence in our software. For the last 2 years, we've had customers implemented in it. So I have thousands of customers all around the world, and everybody's got their teeth just gripping to figure out what are they going to do with it in their environment. So I have customers that literally are insurance companies, casinos, banks. You can't name an industry we don't touch. Government, and everybody's saying, okay, how's it going to benefit me? How am I going to make my life better? How's it going to make my customers better? How am I going to be able to compete with artificial intelligence? And that's the world I live in every day, every hour, all the time. I'm actually teaching a course this semester for Northwestern, which I really wasn't expecting to do, but it's actually been great for me. To be a teacher, which I've never been, you really have to hone your skills. So I can be a programmer and program in AI, and then when you have to roll up your sleeves and teach people how to do what you need to learn how to do in artificial intelligence from a programming standpoint, it really has made me a sharper and better person. There's no question about it. I whine about it sometimes and on the hours it takes, but the truth is the teachers, which I'm not one, I'm not speaking as a teacher. These people that put their lives out there every day to teach you something new have the patience of Job, and they deserve it. It's really a great, great occupation. But on the backside of that, so every day I get calls from offices of their courthouses. How can we get more efficient? What do we need to be doing? What do we need to be buying? How do we need to make this thing work? So we actually take it step by step. We're an imaging company. So my company didn't start out as an artificial intelligence company. We're a 35-year-old company. I've got customers that have been on my software for 35 years. And I mean, running it daily. I mean, our normal customer base can be anywhere from 100 people in a building to 15,000 people in a building. So we've got some of the biggest customers in the world, and they rely on our software every day to do its job. But now with artificial intelligence, they're saying, okay, now that we're committed to y'all, now that we know you know what you're doing because you've been with me for 35 years, how can you bring me forward into artificial intelligence? And what I'd like to do in being a part of this, thing tonight really is bring some questions. Everybody's got their questions as to how can I do this in a casino? How can I do this in government? How can I do this in a hospital? How can I do this in a bank? I have to answer those questions. I don't mean kind of maybe pretend to know the answer. I have to make it work, AI, in every single environment you can imagine, period. From security to the top to literally the small store at the bottom. It doesn't matter. So I have to deal with it. So bring your questions. I've had the questions. I can give you your answers. I'm hoping to able to teach you that don't be scared of it. It's really going to make your life better. It does more than you actually in your mind can imagine. And it's wonderful, wonderful when we get to bring it to customers. I did 3 AI installs this week myself personally, different customers doing different things in it. And it's amazing to me every time it works because they're just like, that's magic. I mean, it's really magic. It's like talking to me and say, Monty, I want you to go over there and grab something and bring it over here to me, and it happens. And AI really is that magical. But you have to know what you're doing. You have to know how to implement it. That's kind of what our software has to bring. But if you even have a question of where do I begin in your environment, no matter what kind of business you're in, come tonight, ask questions. That's what I'll be there to answer, business questions for AI implementations. And that's what I've been doing now for at least 2 to 3 solid years with real customers. Okay? My pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to tonight. Have a good day. No problem. Sure.
I want you to really kind of speak to Isabella and Danny in terms of your student here at Northwestern.
Yes.
What kind of vision did you have for your career at that point in time? What were you doing to prepare for it? And how did Northwestern prepare you for what you
It's a great question. Now the truth is, Monty, as a Northwestern student, it's wonderful to go back. First, I was a fraternity guy, so that sets a mark right there, right? I was president of fraternity, so I wasn't at the bottom end, but I was so I was a fraternity guy, and on the B side of that, I was a band guy. I was the guy honking the horn for y'all, the Bobby Kirchhoffs, the people here at Northwestern that were out on the field. So when you're in the band, you're literally at every game. And the first year I came to Northwestern was when they were putting the AstroTurf in Turpin Stadium. You probably remember that. So every game we played was an away game, which was really a lot of fun. We played in Shreveport Stadium, which is really State Fair Stadium, which is really a nice night. Back at the time, it was a nicer stadium than Northwestern. But really, so you have to say I'm a geek, and I don't like to say I'm a geek, but the truth is I'm probably a geek. So in computer days back then here in my thing, I started as a accounting major, and I did like numbers and I liked math, and I had a good time. And I also tried out for the band at LSU. I was actually going to be in the band at LSU, and 1 week before school started, a friend of mine said, hey, you want to go to Northwestern? I said, sure. So I called the band director. He gave me a scholarship. So I ended up in Northwestern out of a fluke. But then when I got here, I wanted to be an accounting major, and I enjoyed accounting. but this new thing called computer science was getting ready to start. Northwestern did not have a 4-year degree in computer science when I started. So me and a lady here from Natchitoches, Louisiana, the people from Natchitoches, Sadie Scott, swear to God, that's her name, sweet lady. Her and I were best friends. She was president of sorority, I was president of fraternity. We stayed best friends for 5 years. But Sadie wanted a degree in computer science too. So we kept lobbying to Dr. Renee Bienvenu was the president back then, said, this computer thing could be a big deal one day. Why don't y'all make a 4-year degree and I'll swap out of accounting, she'll swap out of accounting, we'll get people into computer science. So they did. They actually printed a piece of paper, made a 4-year degree in computer science. So I finished in accounting with a 4-year degree because my mom needed something for me to fall back on in case this computer deal didn't work out. And then I got a 4-year degree in computer science. And my fraternity friends would all make fun of me because way back when I started here, we were punching cards. That's how old computer systems were. We literally punched cards, and they make fun of me walking around campus with a stack of COBOL cards were huge, and if you drop them, you're in trouble. And I'd stay up at the computer center. That's why I knew I wanted to be a programmer. The computer center was at the building right back there. I forget the top floor. It was a computer building, and you had to like turn in your cards, get them to turn around. But I could go up there literally for 8 hours, and time would go by like that. I just enjoyed the idea of programming and tell a computer to do what it needed to do, and it would do it, and you'd do your stuff. And I even actually wrote a system for the fraternity. I became the treasurer one year. So I wrote an accounts receivable system on a computer system up here so I could build the chapter so I could do. And then one day they lost my cards. I was like, what are y'all doing? It's like, I've already built the chapters. Like, we're running again. So I can't build them again. So then they found out I was writing the accounting system on their machine. But I just loved the idea of computers. I thought it was going to be a big deal. So that's what I graduated in. And then from there, I went to work for Blue Cross on mainframes and got a real job. And then from there, I ended up back in Alexandria. And eventually, the company I went to work for went belly up. So I started my own company. And I started imaging. So that's how I ended up in I guess I should call it the big league. The big league of IBM, because believe it or not, you know the little digital images you have on your phone? You ever wonder who the guy was that took the very first one you'd ever seen in your life? I'll show it to you tonight at the thing. The first digital image ever captured was I took it working with AT&T that developed the card to do it, to create a digital image. And it's of my daughter, was the first digital image. And from there, we took that image to IBM. They had never seen a digital image ever in history. Nobody had. I had to explain to them what a digital image was. They didn't know what the word was. So with that digital image, and IBM said, hey, y'all got something here. We want to market it for you. So IBM began marketing our software because we had the only digital image at the time. It was really pretty cool. But all that got started because of, I love Northwestern. My teacher at Northwestern was a guy named, don't tell me, I shoot myself for not remembering. I do remember his name. But anyway, he was a foreigner, and just he knew I wanted to program, and he just stayed with me and made sure I knew what I was doing. And I mean, it's just a laid back environment. I loved Northwestern. It was just good for me. The fraternity was good for me. Going to the football games, the band, everything about Northwestern was good to me. I played intramural sports. And I'm telling you, 5 years, it was the best 5 years. And I tell people that if college life is not your best years of your life, you're messing up. You went to the wrong school, because I'm telling you, here at Northwestern, I was on the gymnastics team. I had a blast. I knew all the cheerleaders. Life was great, okay? And it should be that way. I expect everybody to have it that way. But Northwestern, you're not one of a 40,000 students at LSU or something like that. You're your own person. People know who you are. And I just absolutely loved it. And I love Natchitoches. I mean, the thing about Natchitoches, you can walk a whole city if you have to, right? I mean, you don't need a fancy car to get around in Natchitoches. And at the frat house, our frat house, we had a Volkswagen convertible in the front, and there'd be 87 of us hanging off of it, literally drinking beer, riding around town, not getting in trouble. It was one different time. It was wonderful. What other kind of trouble question you have that I can get in trouble with? Yeah, right. I'll start talking about you.
Start talking about fraternities.
Yeah, bad things can happen. Go, Captain C.
That's right. Okay. All right. What we're going to do now is simply have our three distinguished panelists pick a backdrop, and we'll have the media circulate and talk individually with those folks. So, Monty, if you just come up here, Dr. Jha and Julian, if y'all will pick one of these other two and just be available for a few minutes, and then we'll get you guys off to lunch. Thank y'all very much. Just catch these guys as you need to, and appreciate your help.